Have you ever gotten an answer to a really important question that just made no sense at all? Well, in the world of AI, that feeling is becoming a massive problem. Today, we're going to talk about a critical choice we all have to face. Do we want AI that's unbelievably powerful, or do we want AI that we can actually understand?
So, just imagine for a second, this is you. You're staring at this question, and your whole financial future could be hanging in the balance. It's a huge moment, right? And what you need isn't just an answer, it's a reason. You need something you can understand and maybe even do something about.
But what if the response you get is, well, basically a digital shrug? With some of the most powerful AI systems out there making these kinds of calls, the internal logic is so incredibly complex that even the people who built them can't really tell you exactly why it made that specific decision. And that, my friends, is what we call the black box problem.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to understand the two competing forces at play here. This is the big trade-off in modern AI. This constant push and pull between clarity and raw power.
So on one side, you have this thing called interpretability. And all that really means is how easily can a person look at an AI's decision and get the why behind it. It's like you can see all the gears turning inside, like looking through a perfectly clear glass box.
And then on the other side, you've got performance. This is all about how good the AI is at its job, plain and simple. It's about its predictive accuracy. How often does it nail the right answer? This is the raw power we're talking about, the ability to make these incredibly accurate predictions.
And right here, you can really see that trade-off in action. Over on the left, you've got your interpretable models. Think of a simple decision tree. The logic is totally transparent. You can follow the path from A to B, no problem. But then on the right, you have the black box models, like these massive deep neural networks. Their inner workings are, well, they're a tangled mess. And while they're often way more accurate, all we really get to see is the final answer, not how it got there.
Now, this whole trade-off, it's not just some technical puzzle for data scientists to solve. When these super powerful but totally opaque models are being used to make critical, real-world decisions, the stakes get incredibly high. So let's take a look at what happens when these decisions go sideways.
The risks here are really significant. I mean, when we can't see inside that box, a whole host of problems just spill out. Accountability, it just vanishes. Hidden biases, they get amplified. New regulations, they get broken. And maybe worst of all, our trust in these systems completely falls apart. Let's start with accountability. I mean, think about it. If an AI incorrectly denies you a job or a loan, and nobody, not the person using it, not the programmer who built it, can explain exactly why, then who's responsible? This creates a massive accountability vacuum, especially in huge fields like finance or the justice system. Then you've got the whole issue of bias. See, an AI learns from the data we feed it. And if our data has hidden societal biases baked right in, which, let's be honest, it often does, the AI will learn those biases and sometimes even make them worse. The insane complexity of a black box model makes this kind of discrimination almost impossible to spot, let alone fix.
And you know what? The law is starting to catch up. Major regulations like the big AI Act in the EU are starting to create a legal right to explanation for people. And that puts companies that rely only on these unexplainable black box models in a really sticky legal situation. Okay, so we get the problem, we see the risks. That brings us to the most important question of all. How do we actually make this choice? How do we decide when to go for maximum accuracy and when we absolutely must have explainability?
Well, the answer isn't some one-size-fits-all solution. The right choice depends completely on the context and, maybe most importantly, on the real-world cost of getting it wrong.
For those super high-stakes situations, like in healthcare or finance, where you absolutely need human insight and you have to be able to spot bias, it's pretty clear why interpretable models are the safer, more responsible choice. But for something low stakes, like a system that recommends what movie you should watch next, the higher accuracy of a black box model is probably fine, because the cost of a bad recommendation is basically zero.
But this whole conversation brings us to an even deeper question. When we talk about explainability, what does it really mean to understand an AI's decision? It's actually more than just getting a simple answer.
Now, seriously, think about that for a second. What does it actually mean to understand why an AI did what it did? What does that look like in the real world?
You know, real understanding isn't just one thing. It really stands on three key pillars. First, there's causal insight. That's knowing exactly which pieces of information led to the final decision. Second is trust and actionability. Basically, do you believe the explanation enough to actually do something based on it? And third, model debugging, the ability for developers to get under the hood and actually fix things when the logic goes off the rails.
At the end of the day, this isn't just some technical problem for data scientists to argue about. It is a fundamental ethical choice for all of us. It's a balancing act that really defines our responsibility in this new age of AI.
This quote really just hits the nail on the head. Balancing interpretability and performance is not just a technical dilemma, but an ethical obligation. This stuff isn't just about code and algorithms. When AI is making decisions that affect people's lives and their ability to make a living, choosing the right balance becomes an ethical must.
And that leaves us with one final, huge question. As these incredibly powerful systems get woven into the fabric of our world, what do we as a society value more? Are we okay with getting perfect, super accurate answers that we can't explain? Or do we demand clear reasoning that we can question, that we can challenge, and ultimately that we can trust? The choice is ours to make.